Kenya's annual inflation rate has been rising, putting more pressure on households already struggling with the increasing cost of living. According to the latest report from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Kenya's annual inflation rate reached 6.5% in July 2026. That's last month. This means that on average, the prices of goods and services are significantly higher than they were a year ago. But what if I told you that inflation is not just making your shopping more expensive? Inflation could also be quietly eating away at your money and making you poorer over time. You may look at your bank account today and see the same amount of money you deposited months or even years ago, but the real question is, what can that money buy you today compared to what it could buy you in the past? That is where inflation becomes a serious threat to your financial future. In this video, I will cover how inflation is affecting your finances and how you can protect your money against it. But before we start, I ask you to kindly like this video and subscribe to this channel. Please help me to reach the first 1,000 subscribers. So let's get started. Let's start by defining inflation. So what is inflation? Simply put, inflation is the general increase in the prices of goods and services over time. As prices increase, the purchasing power of your money falls. Imagine you have 100,000 today. If the cost of living continues to rise, that 100,000 may not be able to buy the same amount of goods and services in the future. For example, if inflation averages around 5% per year, the prices of goods and services could increase significantly over a decade. Something that cost 100,000 today could cost roughly 160,000 10 years from now. The exact increase will depend on the actual inflation rate, but the principle is simple. The longer your money sits without growing, the more purchasing power it can lose. So, how is inflation affecting your money? One of the biggest problems with inflation is that it reduces the real value of your money. Let's say you have 500,000 sitting in your bank account. On your bank statement, you still have 500,000, but if the interest you are earning is lower than the rate of inflation, your money may actually be losing purchasing power. This is why simply saving money is not always enough. You need to think about the real return on your money. The real return is roughly the return you earn after taking inflation into account. For example, if your investment earns 5%, but inflation is 6.5%, your money may be losing purchasing power in real terms. So the goal is not just to keep your money safe. The goal is to make sure your money grows faster than inflation while taking an appropriate level of risk. Now, what can you do to protect your money against inflation? There are several ways. Number one, don't keep everything in cash. And here I'm not saying you should not have an emergency fund. You absolutely need an emergency fund. Unexpected expenses can happen at any time. A medical emergency, job loss, urgent home repairs, or other financial emergencies. And having easily accessible money can prevent you from taking expensive loans or selling investments at the wrong time. However, you don't need to keep your entire wealth in cash. Cash is excellent for emergencies and short-term needs, but over the long term, holding too much cash can expose you to inflation, and the key is balance. Keep enough money that you can access quickly when you need it, but consider putting your long-term savings and investments into assets or financial products that have the potential to grow over time. The second way, don't let your money sit idle in a current account. Many people receive their salaries, pay their bills, and leave the rest of their money sitting in a standard current account for months or even years. The problem is that a current account is primarily designed for transactions, not necessarily for growing your wealth. If your money is sitting idle while prices continue to rise, inflation is gradually reducing what that money can buy. Instead, consider separating your money based on its purposes. You can keep your day to day spending money in a current account while placing money that you don't need immediately into an appropriate savings or investment products that offer a better return. The important thing is to understand the interest you are earning and compare it with inflation. So the third way, consider higher interest financial products. If you are saving money for a specific goal, consider financial products that offer returns that can help protect your purchasing power. Depending on your goals and risk tolerance, this could include products like high interest savings accounts, fixed deposits, money market funds, or other regulated investment options. But don't simply look at the interest rates. Look at the real return after inflation, taxes, and fees. For example, if an investment earns 7% but inflation is 6.5%, the real growth in purchasing power may be very limited, and taxes and fees could reduce it even further. Always understand where your money is going, what return you are earning, and what risks you are taking. The fourth way to protect yourself from inflation is to reduce unnecessary expenses. When prices rise, you may not be able to control the price of everything that you buy, but you can control some of your spending decisions. Review your expenses, cut subscriptions you don't use, reduce unnecessary travel, avoid impulse purchases, compare prices before buying, take advantage of discounts when they are available or when they make sense. You can also consider buying certain and perishable goods or items in bulk if doing so genuinely saves you money. The goal isn't to stop enjoying your life, the goal is to become more intentional with your money so that you can free up more income for saving and investing. Because every shilling that you save from unnecessary spending is another shilling you can put toward building your financial future or building your wealth. So, the fifth way, invest wisely. One of the biggest mistakes you can make during periods of inflation is to keep all your long term wealth in cash and do nothing. Over time, inflation can reduce the purchasing power of that money. This is why investing can play an important role in protecting and growing your wealth. Depending on your financial goals, risk tolerance, and investment timeline, you might consider assets like fixed income investments, stocks, real estate, or other diversified investments. Stocks can provide strong long term returns, but they also carry significant risk and can lose value in the short term. That's why you should research carefully and avoid investing based on hype or speculation. Bonds and other fixed income assets can provide regular interest income depending on the specific investment. Real estate may also provide potential income and long term capital appreciation, although it comes with its own risks, costs, and challenges. The key is diversification. Don't put all your money into one investment simply because you believe it will make you rich quickly. And remember, investing is not about chasing the highest possible return, it's about finding the right balance between return, risk, liquidity, and your financial goals. If you are unsure about what to invest in, consider seeking advice from a qualified financial professional. Most importantly, invest money that you won't need in the short term. Next, maximize your income. One of the most powerful ways to protect yourself from inflation is to increase your earning power. Think about it. If your expenses are rising by 6% but your income remains unchanged, your financial position may become weaker over time. But if you can increase your income, you give yourself more room to absorb rising costs and continue saving and investing. You can learn new skills, pursue professional qualifications, ask for a raise at your job, of course, when your experience and performance justify it. Look for better paying opportunities, start a side hustle, build a business. There are many opportunities that for increasing your income. The key is to develop multiple sources of income, and remember, the more valuable your skills become, the greater your potential earning power. And if your income grows faster than your expenses, you can use the difference to build an emergency fund, invest, pay down expensive debt, and create long-term wealth. In many ways, your ability to earn more money is one of the greatest financial assets you have. Inflation is something you cannot completely avoid. Prices will rise, the cost of living will change, and the money you have today may not buy the same things tomorrow. But you can prepare for it. Keep an emergency fund, but don't keep all your wealth sitting idle in cash. Don't let large amounts of money remain in low interest accounts for years without a clear purpose. Look for appropriate financial products that can help your money grow, control unnecessary spending, invest wisely and diversify, and perhaps most importantly, work on increasing your income and earning power, because protecting your money from inflation isn't just about saving more, it's about making sure your money works as hard as you do. And remember, the real danger of inflation is not that you suddenly lose your money, it's that you slowly lose the purchasing power of your money without even realizing it. That's all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And you can also share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.